Captain Lee Hyon walked slowly across the metal floor of his ship. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of computers working. The stars outside the big window looked peaceful, but Lee Hyon knew better. Peace was rare in this part of space. For 12 long years, humans had been fighting the Vakari Empire. The reptile people from the far systems had attacked human colonies without warning. They burned entire cities and took prisoners who never came back. Lee Hyon had lost many friends in this war. His own brother died defending the colony on New Sol 3 years ago now. Everything might change. A message had arrived 3 days ago. The Vakari wanted to talk about peace. Lee Hyon still could not believe it. He read the message again. On his small screen, the words were simple, but felt wrong somehow. Amanda Park Mina entered the bridge. Her boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. She was a good officer, smart and careful. She had saved Lee Hyon's life twice during the war. He trusted her more than anyone. Captain, the message still bothers me, she said. Her voice was quiet but firm. The Vakari have never wanted peace before. Why now? Lee Hyon nodded. He felt the same way. Something was not right about this. The Vakari were proud warriors. They liked to fight. They never gave up easily. In 12 years of war, they had never once asked for peace talks. The meeting place was strange too, a planet called Kepler 442b in the neutral zone. The planet had huge crystal caves that glowed with natural light. The Vakari said it was perfect for peace talks. A place where both sides could feel safe, but Lee Hyon did not feel safe. He felt like a mouse walking into a cat's den. Admiral Kim Tiang appeared on the main screen. His old face looked tired from years of war. He had been fighting the Vakari longer than anyone. His hair was now completely white. Captain Lee, the admiral said, we are following the agreement. Only your battleship and the diplomatic ship will go to the meeting. The Vakari promised they will bring the same number of ships. Lee Hyon saluted. Yes, Admiral, we will be careful. I know you will, the admiral replied. But remember, this might be our only chance for peace. The people back on Earth are tired of war. They want their sons and daughters to come home. The connection ended. Lee Hyon stared at the empty screen. He understood what the admiral meant. The war was costing too much money, lives, hope. Everything was running out. Lieutenant Kang Do-yun was working at his station. His job was to watch for enemy ships and dangerous things in space. He was young but very good at his work. His fingers moved fast over the control buttons. Captain, he said, I am getting strange readings from the planet. There is movement in the underground tunnels, lots of movement. What kind of movement? Lee Hyon asked. I am not sure, sir. The computer cannot identify what it is. It is not Vakari ships or soldiers, but something big is moving down there. Park Mina moved closer to look at the screen. The readings showed energy signatures deep underground. The patterns were unlike anything in their database. Good be mining equipment, she suggested, or maybe some kind of machinery. Lee Hyon was not convinced. Mining equipment did not move like this. The patterns showed intelligence, purpose, like something was getting ready for action. The diplomatic ship appeared beside them. Ambassador Choi Ji-won was on board. She was famous for being smart and tough. She could read people better than anyone, even alien people. She had helped end 3 smaller wars through talking instead of fighting. Ambassador, this is Captain Lee Hyon, he said into his communicator. We are approaching the planet now. Good, Captain, I am ready. The ambassador's voice was calm, but Lee Hyon heard something else. Worry, maybe, or fear. Are you concerned about something, Ambassador? She was quiet for a moment. Yes, Captain. Something feels wrong about this invitation, but we must try. Peace is worth the risk. The planet grew larger in front of them. It was beautiful, blue and green with white clouds. The crystal formations were visible even from space. They sparkled like diamonds in the sunlight as they entered the atmosphere. Lee Hyon watched his screens carefully. The movement underground was getting stronger. Whatever was down there was getting more active. Captain Kang Do-yun said, the energy readings are off the charts now. Something big is happening under the surface. Send the readings to Admiral Kim Tae-yang. Lee Hyon ordered, if something goes wrong, he needs to know what we found. The landing area was in a valley between tall crystal spires. The formations were massive. Some were taller than buildings. They glowed with soft blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. The sight was beautiful, but also frightening. As their ship landed, Lee Hyon felt the ground vibrate slightly. It was not from their engines. Something else was causing it. Something deep underground. The Vakari ships were already there too. Vessels black and sharp like knives. Their design looked aggressive even when parked. The reptile people never made anything that looked peaceful. General Thrax was waiting with 10 guards. Li Hyun had seen pictures of the Vakari general before, but meeting him in person was different. The alien was huge, more than 8 feet tall. His scales were dark green with scars from old battles. His yellow eyes were cold like a snake's. His guards carried energy weapons that glowed with red light. They stood in formation like soldiers ready for battle. This did not look like a peace meeting. Welcome humans, General Thrax said. His voice was deep and rough. The translator made it sound almost human, but not quite. Shall we begin these peace talks, Ambassador? Choi stepped forward. She was small compared to the alien general, but she did not show fear. Of course, we are eager to end this conflict. The Vakari general smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. It showed rows of sharp teeth like a crocodile. Li Hyun felt his hand move toward his weapon as they walked toward the crystal caves. Li Hyun noticed how the Vakari guards moved. They were not just escorting, they were positioning themselves like they were getting ready for something. The caves were amazing. Inside, the crystals grew from every surface, floor, wall, ceiling. They created natural rooms and tunnels. The blue light was everywhere, making everything glow. But Li Hyun was not thinking about beauty, he was thinking about the tactical situation. The caves would make fighting difficult. Too many places to hide, too many ways to get trapped. Kang Do-yun whispered into his earpiece. Captain, the energy readings are strongest here, right where walking. Li Hyun felt ice in his stomach. They were walking into something bad, he was sure of it, but they had to continue. The hope for peace was too important to abandon. The main chamber was huge. A natural amphitheater made of crystal. The ceiling was so high it disappeared in shadows. Crystals jutted out like spears from every surface. General Thrax gestured to a smooth area in the center. Shall we sit and discuss terms? As they moved forward, Li Hyun noticed something. The crystal formations were not random, they were arranged in patterns, like circuits, like a machine. The energy readings spiked on Kang Do-yun's scanner. Captain, he whispered urgently, these crystals are not natural formations. They have been modified. Li Hyun realized the truth too late. The entire cave system was a weapon. The crystals were focusing energy, the patterns on the walls were targeting systems. They had walked into a trap. The peace treaty was fake. The Vakari had never wanted to talk. They wanted to capture the best human commanders and diplomats in one place. General Thrax was still smiling, his terrible smile. You humans are so predictable, he said. The crystal chamber felt like a tomb waiting to close. Li Hyun watched every shadow, every reflection in the glowing walls. Ambassador Choi sat across from General Thrax at a smooth stone table. The alien general's yellow eyes never stopped moving. He was studying the humans like a hunter studies prey. The terms are simple, General Thrax said in his rough voice. Humanity will leave all the star systems we want. You will take your ships and go back to your homeworlds. In return, we will stop attacking you. Ambassador Choi kept her face calm, but Li Hyun saw her hands tighten slightly. That is not peace, General, that is surrender. We came here to find a solution that works for everyone, General. Thrax leaned forward, his massive form cast dark shadows on the crystal walls. Perhaps you do not understand the real purpose of this meeting. Li Hyun felt danger like electricity in the air. He looked at the Vakari guards. They had moved closer during the talking. Now they surrounded the humans in a loose circle. Commander Park Mina noticed it too. Her hand drifted toward her weapon. The crystal formations began to change. The soft blue light grew brighter and brighter. The pulsing rhythm increased like a heartbeat, getting faster. Li Hyun realized with horror that the crystals were not just decorations, they were machinery, ancient alien technology turned into a weapon. Captain, Kang Do-yun whispered urgently into his communicator, the energy readings are going crazy. The whole chamber is powering up for something. Li Hyun grabbed his sidearm trap. He shouted to his team, get down, but it was already too late. Energy beams erupted from dozens of crystal points around the chamber. The beams were not meant to kill, they were meant to capture. The energy formed a cage around the humans, a prison made of pure light. Ambassador Choi tried to move forward, but the energy barrier stopped her. The light felt solid like glass, but it burned when touched. General, this is not how peace negotiations work. General Thrax stood up to his full height. His laugh was like rocks grinding together. You humans are so easy to predict. You always send your best people to peace talks. Your smartest diplomats, your best ship captains. Now we have all of you in one place. Commander Park Mina drew her weapon, but the energy barrier blocked everything. She fired at the crystals, but the shots bounced off harmlessly. Captain, we are completely trapped, Lieutenant. Kang Do-yun was working frantically on his scanner. The readings show this technology is incredibly old, maybe thousands of years, but someone has been maintaining it recently. The Vakari must have found this place and turned it into their trap. Li Haiyan felt anger burning in his chest. They had been fools to trust the Vakari, but they had to try for peace. The war was destroying both sides. How could they have known about this ancient trap? You see, humans. General Thrax continued walking around their energy prison. We have been planning this for months. We studied your patterns. You always respond to peace offers. You cannot help yourselves. Your weakness is that you want to save lives, even enemy lives. The Vakari guards relaxed now that their trap had worked. They lowered their weapons and began talking among themselves in their harsh language. Some of them were laughing. Ambassador Choi remained calm despite their desperate situation. General, you are making a terrible mistake. Humans do not negotiate alone. We never have. General Thrax tilted his huge reptilian head. What do you mean, little diplomat? That was when the entire chamber shook. Dust and small rocks fell from the ceiling. The crystal formations vibrated with a deep harmonic sound that seemed to come from the planet itself. The Vakari guards stopped laughing and raised their weapons again, looking around nervously. The vibration grew stronger. It was rhythmic like footsteps, but the steps were far too heavy to be human or Vakari. Something massive was moving through the underground tunnels, something that made the ground shake with each step. What is that? General Thrax demanded. His confident voice now showed worry. What have you brought to this place? Ambassador Choi smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. Our friends. The wall behind General Thrax exploded. Inward chunks of crystal and stone flew everywhere. The Vakari guards dove for cover as debris rained down. A hole the size of a small building opened up in the chamber wall. Through the dust and falling rocks came creatures that made both humans and Vakari look like children. They stood 12 feet tall with bodies that looked like they were carved from mountain stone. Their skin was gray and rough like granite. Their arms were as thick as tree trunks, and each creature had 4 of them. Their eyes glowed with blue light, the same color as the crystals, but much brighter. When they moved, the ground shook under their weight. They were living mountains that had learned to walk. The golem Commonwealth. Ambassador Choi announced calmly as more rocks continued to fall around them. The lead creature spoke in a voice like thunder. The translation device converted his deep, rumbling words into human speech. Humans, you are safe. Now we are. Here General Thrax backed away from the massive beings. His scales changed color, showing his fear. Impossible. The golems died out 50 years ago. We destroyed them all. The lead golem turned his glowing blue eyes toward the Vakari general clearly. We did not die. Scale speaker. We learned to hide. We learned to wait. We learned to prepare. More golems poured through the opening in the wall. They moved with surprising speed for creatures made of living stone. Their 4 arms allowed them to climb over debris and move obstacles with ease. Some carried weapons that looked like they were carved from single pieces of metal. The Vakari guards opened fire with their energy weapons. The red beams struck the golems but barely left marks on their stone skin. The creatures advanced steadily, ignoring the weapons fire like it was rain. Lieutenant Kang Do-yun stared at his scanner in amazement. Captain, there are hundreds of them throughout the tunnel system. They have been living under this planet for decades. One of the golems approached the energy barrier holding the humans. He studied the crystal formation for a moment, then reached out with one massive hand. The barrier flickered and sparked as the golem simply crushed the focusing crystal. The energy prison collapsed immediately. Thank you, friend, Captain Li Haiyan said, stepping free from where they had been trapped. The golem nodded his huge stone head. You helped our people once long ago. Now we help you. Commander Park Mina was checking her weapons. Sir, this changes everything. We need to get word to the fleet. The Vakari walked into their own trap, but General Thrax was not finished. He pulled out a communication device. Admiral Sareth, respond immediately. We have a situation here. The holographic image of another Vakari appeared. This one had even more elaborate scale patterns showing higher rank. General Thrax, report your status. Li Haiyan watched as General Thrax tried to explain how his perfect trap had become his prison. The golem Commonwealth had turned the tables completely. Admiral, the humans brought allies. The golems are supposed to be extinct, but they are very much alive. Ambassador Choi stepped into the communication range. Admiral Sarath, I am Ambassador Choi Ji-won. We would like to discuss new terms for ending this war. Terms that include justice for attempted genocide. The Vakari admiral looked confused. Genocide. What are you talking about? Stone who speaks moved into view of the communicator. His massive form filled the entire holographic display. 50 years ago, your people tried to kill all golems. You thought you succeeded. You were wrong. The chamber filled with the sound of moving stone as more golems entered through the massive hole in the wall. Each footstep sent vibrations through the crystal formations. The blue light from their eyes created dancing shadows on every surface. Stone who speaks was the largest golem Li Hyan had ever imagined. His body was like a small mountain that had learned to walk and think. His forearms moved with careful precision as he cleared debris from the path. Other golems followed behind him, some carrying wounded Vakari guards who had been knocked unconscious by falling rocks. General Thrax stared at the creatures, his reptilian features showing complete shock. These are the beings we destroyed. How is this possible? You destroyed our cities. Stone who speaks rumbled in his deep voice, but golems are patient. We learned from that attack. We scattered across many worlds. We dug deep into planets like this one. We waited. Ambassador Choi walked over to where several golems were helping free the remaining humans from smaller energy barriers that still flickered around the chamber. Tell me, friend, how long have your people been in contact with human? Stone who speaks turned his glowing blue eyes toward the ambassador. 6 months ago, your people found one of our hidden settlements. They did not attack. They did not try to take our resources. They asked if we needed help. Hyan remembered hearing reports about a strange discovery in the outer colonies, a settlement of unknown aliens that had been found by human explorers. The official report said contact had been made but gave few details. Now he understood why the humans offered us friendship. Stone who speaks continued. When we told them about the Vakari attack 50 years ago, they offered justice. They said no one should face genocide alone. Commander Park Mena was coordinating with the other human officers who had been trapped in the chamber. Sir, this explains the unusual readings we detected. The golems have been preparing for this moment. Lieutenant Kang Do-yun was studying his scanner with excitement. Captain, the golem technology is incredible. They have been building ships and weapons underground for decades. Everything is hidden from surface scans. More golems continued entering the chamber. Some were smaller, only 8 or 9 feet tall. These seemed to be engineers or technicians. They began working on the damaged crystal formations, not to repair them, but to disable them permanently. The Vakari guards, who were still conscious, had stopped fighting. They stood in a small group near General Thrax, their energy weapons lowered. Their red reptilian eyes darted nervously between the massive stone beings. One of the younger Vakari soldiers spoke in their harsh language. General Thrax translated reluctantly. He asks, how many golems survived our attack? 50 years. Agastone who speaks answered directly. More than you killed. We were builders before you made us warriors. We had already spread to many worlds when you attacked our home planet. You destroyed one city. We had hundreds. The communication device in General Thrax's hand crackled to life. Admiral Sarath's voice came through clearly. General, I am reading massive energy signatures throughout that star system. What is happening down there? Admiral Li Hyan said, stepping closer to the communicator. This is Captain Li Hyan of the human fleet. Your general has walked into a situation he cannot handle. Show me what you mean. Admiral Sarath demanded. One of the golems had been working on the chamber's communication systems. The holographic display expanded to show not just Admiral Sarath's face, but also data from the Vakari fleet sensors. The display showed space around the planet. Ships were emerging from hiding places they had occupied for years, dozens of them, then hundreds. Stone vessels that looked crude but radiated enormous energy signatures. Golem ships. Admiral Sarath whispered. His scaled features showed the same shock as General Thrax. How many worlds do you control? Stone who speaks moved closer to the display. Enough worlds. We learned from your attack. Never again will we be defenseless, scattered people. Now we are strong. Captain Li Hyan activated his own communicator. Admiral Kim Taeyang, please respond. The human admiral's tired face appeared on a second holographic display. Captain Li, what is your status? Safe, Admiral, thanks to our new allies. Li Hyan gestured toward Stone who speaks. The Golem Commonwealth has been waiting for this moment for 50 years. Admiral Kim Taeyang's eyes widened as he saw the massive stone being incredible. I am reading. Golem ships throughout 12 different star systems. How long have they been preparing? We have been patient, Stone Who Speaks replied. We built slowly, we planned carefully, we waited for the right moment to reveal ourselves. Ambassador Choi moved between the two communication displays addressing both admirals. Admiral Sareth, Admiral Kim, we have an opportunity here. This war has cost all our peoples too much. We can end it today. Admiral Sareth was studying tactical displays that his officers were sending to him. The Vakari fleet was outnumbered 3-1. Human ships and golem vessels surrounded them from every direction. This is impossible, he said. How did you coordinate this attack without our knowledge? Ambassador Choi smiled. It was not an attack, Admiral, it was an invitation. We invited you here hoping you would bring your best general and a significant fleet so we could demonstrate the new reality. General Thrax finally spoke up. Admiral, they planned this perfectly. The humans suspected we intended to trap them. They prepared a counter-trap using allies. We thought we're extinct. As Stone Who Speaks rumbled in what might have been laughter. Your trap became our trap scale, General. We have been living under this planet for 30 years waiting for Vakari ships to return here. Lieutenant Kang Do-Yun was monitoring communications from the human fleet. Captain Admiral Kim reports that Vakari reinforcements are approaching the system, but they are slowing down when they see the combined fleet strength. The tactical situation was becoming clear to everyone. The Vakari had planned to capture human leadership and use them as bargaining tools instead. They had triggered the emergence of a third major power that held ancient grudges against them. Commander Park Mina coordinated with Golem engineers who were making sure all the crystal weapon systems were permanently disabled. Sir, this chamber was designed to hold prisoners indefinitely. The golems are making sure it can never be used again. More golems entered carrying equipment that looked like a combination of tools and weapons. They worked efficiently to secure the area and tend to both human and Vakari wounded. Their forearms allowed them to multitask in ways that impressed even the human. Engineer Stone Who Speaks addressed both admirals through the communication system. Vakari fleet leader, human fleet leader, your peoples have been fighting for 12 years. Our people have been preparing for 50 years. We offer a choice. What choice? Admiral Sareth asked reluctantly. And this war now, Stone Who Speaks replied, or face the consequences of your past actions and present decisions together. General Thrax found himself surrounded by beings that should not exist. His perfect trap had become his nightmare. The crystal chamber that was supposed to hold human prisoners now held him. Instead, golems stood guard at every entrance, their blue eyes glowing in the strange light. The Vakari general tried to maintain his dignity, but sweat was visible on his scaled forehead. He had never faced enemies like this. The golems were patient and methodical. They did not show anger or hatred. They simply existed like mountains that had decided to take action. You cannot be serious, he hissed at Ambassador Choi. The Vakari Empire controls hundreds of star systems. We will never surrender to species we consider inferior. Captain Lee Hyon stepped forward, his hand resting on his weapon. General, I do not think you understand how completely your situation has changed. Let me help you see it clearly. Lee Hyon activated his long-range communicator. Admiral Kim Taeyang, please execute Plan Omega High. Above the planet, the human fleet began moving into new positions, but they were not alone. Massive stone ships rose from hidden locations across the planet's surface. The golem vessels were not elegant like human ships or aggressive like Vakari warships. They looked like flying mountains, but their energy signatures showed incredible power. Lieutenant Kang Do-Yun monitored the tactical displays. Captain, the Vakari fleet is requesting permission to retreat. They are completely surrounded and outnumbered, but Stone Who Speaks rumbled a sound that might have been disagreement. No retreat yet, small captain. They must hear truth first. They must choose with full knowledge. The massive golem moved to the communication array. His forearms worked controls designed for smaller beings, but he adapted quickly. The holographic display expanded to show the space battle that had not yet begun. Admiral Sareth stared at the tactical readout. Dozens of human ships surrounded his fleet, but worse were the golem vessels. Each one was massive and crude, but radiated energy levels that his sensors could barely measure. How long have you been planning this? He asked. Stone Who Speaks answered, 50 years. We learned from your attack on our homeworld. We decided never to Be helpless again, we spread across the galaxy we built in secret. We waited. More golems entered the chamber, carrying what looked like historical records carved in stone tablets. They set these carefully on the smooth table where the peace negotiations had begun. Ambassador Choi gestured to the stone tablets. Admiral, these records show what your people did 50 years ago. You did not just attack the golem homeworld. You tried to eliminate their entire species. That was war, Admiral Sareth protested. All species expand by taking territory from other. Stone who speaks placed one massive hand on the stone tablets. War is fighting soldiers taking territory. Genocide is trying to kill everyone, including children, including those who never fought. Your people chose genocide. General Thrax was studying the tactical situation through his own communication device. Admiral, we have walked into a perfect trap. The humans suspected our intentions. They prepared allies we thought were extinct. The chamber shook as more golem ships rose from underground hiding places. Each emergence sent vibrations through the planet's crust. The crystal formations that had once been weapons now served as communication relays connecting the surface to the vast underground. City's commander Park Mina coordinated with human and golem officers. Sir, our combined fleet now outnumbers the Vakari forces 5-1. Their reinforcements are turning away from the system. Lieutenant Kang Do-yeon was analyzing long-range sensor data. Captain, I am reading golem ships emerging from hiding places in 15 different star systems. This is not just about this planet. They have been preparing everywhere. The scope of the golem Commonwealth survival became clear. They had not just endured the Vakari genocide attempt, they had turned it into motivation for the largest secret military buildup in galactic history. Admiral Kim Tae-ing's voice came through the human communication array. Captain Lee, the political situation is changing rapidly. Other alien governments are asking about the Golem Commonwealth. They want to know if this new power will threaten them. Stone who speaks addressed this concern directly. We threaten only those who attempt genocide. We seek justice for past crimes and security for the future. Other peoples who do not attack civilians have nothing to fear. Ambassador Choi saw the opportunity. She had been waiting for. Admiral Sareth, you have a choice. Your empire can continue this war and face both humanity and the Golem Commonwealth together, or you can choose a different path. What path? The Vakari admiral asked suspiciously. Peace negotiations that include reparations for attempted genocide. Ambassador Choi replied. Withdrawal from human colonial territory. Establishment of neutral zones where disputes can be resolved without warfare. Impossible. Admiral Sareth snapped. The Empire does not pay reparations to anyone. General Thrax looked up at his superior. Admiral, perhaps you should reconsider. I have seen their military preparations. They have been planning this moment for decades. We cannot win this fight. Stone who speaks activated another communication array. This one connected to golem commanders throughout the galaxy. The stone beings appeared on dozens of holographic displays. Their deep voices created a harmonious rumble as they reported their readiness. 12 Star Systems secured. Deep Builder reported 43 hidden shipyards operational. 27 worlds prepared. Mountain Heart added defense fleets in position. The reports continued. Each golem commander represented massive military assets that had been hidden from galactic awareness for half a century. The Vakari Empire had unknowingly been surrounded by their victims for years. Admiral Kim Tae-yang addressed Admiral Sareth directly. Vakari commander, your people started this war with humanity because you wanted our colonial territories. Now you face a united front. You cannot defeat both our species, but this is not about conquest. Admiral Sareth, Ambassador Choi said, this is about survival. Your people have a choice. Evolve beyond your warrior culture or face the consequences of your past actions. Stone who speaks moved closer to the communication displays. His massive form dominated the view. We offer mercy to those who accept justice. We do not seek to destroy the Vakari people. We seek to ensure they never again attempt to destroy others. The Vakari admiral was studying tactical displays that showed the true scope of the forces arrayed against his empire. Human technology, combined with golem patience and determination. It was a combination that no single species could resist. General Thrax spoke quietly. Admiral, we trained our entire lives for war, but we never prepared for this situation. Our enemies have become allies. Our victims have become powerful. Our trap has become our prison. Lieutenant Kang Do-yeon interrupted the conversation. Captain, long-range sensors show more alien Fleets approaching the system, but they are not hostile. They appear to be neutral observers. Ambassador Choi smiled. Other galactic powers want to see how this resolves. Admiral Sareth, the entire galaxy is watching. If you choose wisely today, your people can survive and even prosper. If you choose poorly, you face not just military defeat but complete isolation. Stone Who Speaks added his deep voice to the diplomatic pressure. We have contacted other species who suffered Vakari attacks. They are prepared to stand with us if necessary. Your people have made many enemies. The weight of the situation settled on Admiral Sareth. His empire had built its expansion on military might, but strength meant nothing when facing overwhelming opposition. The tactical displays showed no possible victory, only varying degrees of defeat. What exactly are you proposing? He asked finally. The silence from the Vakari fleet stretched like a held breath. Captain Lee Han could imagine the frantic discussions happening on those distant ships. Admirals and generals who had come expecting easy victory now faced an impossible choice. Ambassador Choi had been preparing for this moment since the first secret contact with the Golem 6 months ago. She knew that real peace required more than just ending the current war. It required addressing the root causes of conflict. Our terms are straightforward, she said, addressing both Admiral Sareth and the assembled representatives. First, immediate ceasefire across all fronts, no more attacks on civilian populations. Second, withdrawal from all human colonies attacked in the last 5 years with full reparations for damages. Third, acknowledgement of attempted genocide against the Golem. Commonwealth and appropriate compensation. Impossible, Admiral Sareth hissed. The Empire has never admitted wrongdoing to anyone. We do not pay tribute to defeated. Anemia. Stone Who Speaks moved closer to the communication array, his massive form casting shadows across the chamber. Admiral of the Scale People, we are not defeated, we were hidden. We chose to reveal ourselves now to prevent further genocide. General Thrax studied the tactical displays on his personal communicator. Admiral, I respectfully suggest you look at the real numbers. Their combined fleets outnumber our forces in this system 8-1, but Commander Park Mina raised an important concern. Sir, if we allow their main fleet to withdraw, they could return with reinforcements. The Vakari Empire controls hundreds of worlds. Ambassador Choi had anticipated this. She gestured to Stone Who Speaks, who activated a galaxy-wide communication network that connected Golem commanders across dozens of star systems. The holographic display expanded to show the true scope of Golem preparation. Fleets emerged from hiding places throughout known space. Each appearance was coordinated to demonstrate their reach. Admiral Kim Tae-yang's voice came through the human communication array. Captain Lee, our long-range sensors are detecting Golem ships and systems we thought were empty. They have been hiding in plain sight for decades. Stone Who Speaks addressed Admiral Sareth directly. Scale Fleet Leader, your people believe you control territory, but we have been living beneath many of your worlds for years. We know your fleet movements, your supply lines, your weakness. As Lieutenant Kang Da-yun was monitoring communications from across the galaxy. Captain, I am receiving reports from human colonies in 15 different systems. Golem ships are appearing everywhere, offering protection and assistance. The strategic picture became clear to everyone. The Golem Commonwealth had not just survived, they had quietly positioned themselves to emerge as a major galactic power at the moment of their choosing. Admiral Sareth was receiving reports from his own fleet commanders. Admiral, one of them said, the Golem vessels are using unknown technology. Their energy signatures suggest weapons far more powerful than ours. More troubling news arrived from Vakari territory itself. Several colony worlds reported that massive stone ships had appeared in their systems. The Golems were revealing the true extent of their presence. Stone Who Speaks rumbled in satisfaction. We learned patience from living underground. We learned strategy from studying your empire. We learned strength from remembering our dead general. Thrax looked at his superior with something approaching desperation. Admiral, these beings have been planning this moment for 50 years. They know everything about our military capabilities. We know almost nothing about theirs. Ambassador Choi saw that the moment was right for her final diplomatic move. Admiral Sareth, you can continue this war and discover exactly how powerful our alliance has become. Or you can choose to be part of something better. What do you mean? The Vakari Admiral asked. Warily, instead of fighting over existing territories, she explained, we can work together to expand into unexplored regions. The galaxy is vast enough for all our peoples if we are wise enough to Coopera Testone, who speaks, added his support. We are builders. By nature, war taught us to be warriors, but we prefer to create. We offer knowledge of worlds suitable for Vakari. Colonization in exchange for justice for past crimes, Captain. Li Haiyan activated his communicator. Admiral Kim Taeyang, the golems are offering something incredible. They have surveyed thousands of uninhabited star systems. They are willing to share that information. The offer was tempting. The war between humans and Vakari had started because both species needed new worlds for their growing populations. The golems possessed survey data that could solve the territorial pressures. Lieutenant Kang Do-yun was analyzing the data streams from golem ships. Captain, their exploration records show hundreds of habitable worlds in sectors we have never reached. They have been busy for 50 years. Commander Park Mina coordinated with the diplomatic team. Sir, this could change everything. Instead of fighting over limited space, we could all expand into new regions. But Admiral Sarath was still suspicious. How do we know this is not another trap? How do we know you will honor such agreement? Stone, who speaks, answered by displaying holographic images of golem cities on dozens of worlds, underground metropolises carved from solid rock, manufacturing centers that produce both art and technology, agricultural systems that fed millions. We have built civilizations in secret, the massive being said. We could have remained hidden forever, but your war with humans threatened to spread. We chose to act now to prevent more genocide. General Thrax was studying the images with amazement. Admiral, these cities are magnificent. They have been building while we have been fighting. They have been growing while we have been destroying more. Evidence of golem civilization appeared on the displays. Art carved from living rock, music that harmonized with planetary resonances, technology that worked with natural forces rather than against them. Ambassador Choi pressed her advantage. Admiral, your people are warriors, but even warriors need something to protect. These new worlds could give your empire room to grow without taking territory from others. The diplomatic team from the human colonies added their voices. Captain Li Haiyan, our people are tired of war. They want to build new homes, explore new worlds. Our children should not have to fight the same battles we have fought. Stone, who speaks, made the final offer. We propose a 3-species alliance. Humans provide innovation and exploration expertise. Vakari provide warrior skills for dangerous missions. Golems provide patience and construction knowledge. Together, we can achieve what none could accomplish alone. Admiral Sarath was quiet for several minutes. The tactical displays showed his impossible military situation. The survey data showed incredible opportunities. The choice was between certain defeat and possible prosperity. Finally, he spoke. General Thrax, what is your assessment of our position? General Thrax looked around the crystal chamber at the humans who had outsmarted them and the golems who had outplanned them. Admiral, we walked into this system expecting to capture prisoners. Instead, we discovered that our enemies had become allies and our victims had become powerful. The Vakari admiral studied the faces of his opponents. Human determination, golem patience, both directed at his empire with overwhelming force. What guarantees do we have that this alliance will honor its promises? He asked. Ambassador Choi smiled. The same guarantee you offered us when you invited us to peace talks. Trust backed by the understanding that betrayal would be catastrophic for everyone involved. Stoney, who speaks, added, we propose neutral monitoring stations staffed by representatives from all 3 species. Violations of agreements will be immediately known to everyone. The framework for lasting peace was taking shape, not just an end to the current war but a new model for galactic cooperation. 3 months had passed since the failed trap that became the foundation of peace. Captain Li Haiyan stood in the observation lounge of the newly constructed diplomatic station that orbited Kepler 442b. The crystal planet below sparkled with new purpose. The weapon systems had been converted into communication relays connecting 3 different civilizations. Through the massive viewport, he watched ships from 3 species working together. Construction vessels moved in coordinated patterns. Human engineering combined with golem strength and even Vakari precision welding. The station was growing larger every day. Ambassador Choi joined him at the window carrying a datapad filled with progress reports. The construction schedule is ahead of projections, she said. Golem patience combined with human efficiency and Vakari dedication to completing tasks perfectly is quite remarkable, Lee. Shane nodded toward a section where Vakari workers were installing defensive systems. I still find it hard to believe General Thrax volunteered to stay as liaison officer. He is a soldier who understands honor, Ambassador Choi replied. When defeated fairly, he accepted the outcome that matters greatly in Vakari culture. Besides, his knowledge of military tactics has been invaluable in planning joint defense operations. Commander Park Mina approached with the daily security briefing. Captain, all three species report compliance with the territorial agreements. No violations recorded in 8 weeks. The neutral monitoring stations are working perfectly. The peace had not been simple. Many Vakari commanders had refused to accept the alliance. Human colonists remained suspicious of their former enemies. Some Golem settlements preferred isolation to cooperation, but the framework was holding. Lieutenant Kang Do-yun was monitoring communications from across the galaxy. Captain, we are receiving requests from 12 different alien civilizations. They want to join our alliance. The news of 3 species cooperating peacefully has spread throughout known space. That had been an unexpected consequence. The alliance between humans, Vakari and Golems was inspiring other civilizations to reconsider their own conflicts. Several smaller wars had ended when the combatants realized that cooperation offered more benefits than conquest. On who speaks entered the observation lounge, his massive form requiring the enlarged doorways that had been built throughout the station. Human friends, Vakari allies. The Council of Three Peoples meets soon. Are you prepared for today's discussions? The Tripartite Council was their greatest achievement. Representatives from all 3 species made decisions together. Each proposal required consensus, forcing creative solutions that satisfied everyone. Ready as always, Captain Lee Hyon replied. What is on today's agenda? The Zentoran Federation has formally requested membership in our alliance. Stone Who Speaks rumbled. Their proposal includes sharing their advanced medical technology in exchange for protection and trade agreements. Ambassador Choi checked her notes. The Zenorans have been fighting the Keth Empire for 20 years. Their medical knowledge could save millions of lives across all our territories. The station had become more than a diplomatic center. It was becoming the heart of a new kind of galactic community. Species that had never trusted each other were finding ways to cooperate. As they walked toward the council chambers, Captain Lee Hyon observed the daily miracle of 3 very different peoples working together. Golem engineers consulted with human technicians, while Vakari security teams coordinated patrol schedules. The council chambers were designed to accommodate all 3 species. The ceiling was high enough for the tallest golem. The temperature was adjusted for Vakari comfort. The lighting was optimized for human vision. Everything represented compromise and consideration. General Thrax was already present, reviewing tactical reports. His scarred reptilian features had lost their harsh expression. Over the months, he had developed something resembling friendship with his former enemies. Captain Lee, the Vakari general, said, "Your fleet reports are excellent. The joint patrol missions are preventing pirate attacks throughout the neutral zones." The patrols were another success story. Human ships provided speed and advanced sensors. Golem vessels offered overwhelming firepower. Vakari crews contributed aggressive tactics that discouraged hostile actions. Admiral Kim Taeyang appeared on the main communication screen from his flagship in orbit. Admiral Sareth sends his regards from the Vakari homeworld. The Empire Council has officially ratified all alliance agreements. Stone Who Speaks settled his massive form into the specially constructed chair designed for Golem physiology. My people report completion of the first joint colony world. Human families and Vakari clans and Golem communities will share the planet peacefully. Lieutenant Kang Do-yun was monitoring the communication networks. Captain, the joint exploration missions have discovered 17 new habitable worlds in the past month. The territorial pressure that started the war is becoming irrelevant. That had been Ambassador Choi's greatest insight. The war had begun because 3 species were competing for limited space. By working together, they could expand into regions none could have reached alone. Commander Park Mina presented the security briefing. All 3 species report improvements in their defensive capabilities. The sharing of military knowledge has made everyone safer. The Meeting proceeded through various agenda items, trade agreements that benefited all parties, scientific exchanges that advanced understanding, cultural programs that reduced prejudice and fear. Ambassador Choi addressed the assembled representatives. We have accomplished something unprecedented in galactic history. 3 species that were enemies have become partners. Other civilizations are watching our example. A communication request came through from the outer territories. Captain Lee Hyon, the Andromedan Collective, is asking for permission to send observers. They want to study our alliance structure. Stone, who speaks, rumbled approval. Let them come. We have nothing to hide. Our strength comes from cooperation, not secrecy. General Thrax added his perspective. From a military standpoint, our alliance has created the most powerful defensive network in known space. No aggressive empire can threaten any of our territories. The discussion continued through the afternoon, covering everything from economic development to cultural exchange programs. The complexity of managing a 3-species alliance required constant attention, but the benefits were undeniable. As the formal meeting ended, Captain Lee Hyon remained in his seat, reflecting on how much had changed. Ambassador, when you first suggested this alliance, did you really believe it would work this well? Ambassador Choi gathered her data pads with a satisfied expression. Captain, I believed in something. I learned about humanity during the war. We are not the strongest species in the galaxy. We are not the smartest or the most advanced. What are we then? He asked. We are the best at making friends when it matters most, she replied. We saw potential allies where others saw only enemies. We offered cooperation where others demanded surrender. She gestured toward the viewport where ships from 3 civilizations continued their coordinated construction work. The Vakari thought they were setting a trap for human leadership. Instead, they created the perfect opportunity to demonstrate humanity's greatest strength. What strength is that? Stone, who speaks, asked his